Okay, everybody, welcome back to Polyterology, and I'm on with Kevin from Kevin's Loving Vibrations today. And unfortunately, Meldor is unable to make it again. It's not like he's had a long running illness or anything. Oops, there's my channel. Let me mute that. So yeah, so Mel is he had one thing last month on Cinco de Mayo. He has something else today, and it's
Yeah,
minor. So we're not going to be too worried about him. But it wouldn't hurt if everybody sent him a little love and light. That's always a good thing. All right.
absolutely.
So Kevin, tell us what's going on for you.
Uh, Not a whole lot since the last time I was here. Busy with readings and my channel. Been spending a lot of time getting my patio and garden all set up. So just been like on the go, feels like. But I'm so happy to be here with you again.
Yeah, I'm really, it's been a while. It was Cinco de Mayo. That's May
That's
5th.
true. Yeah,
And so my phone, like getting a spam phone call, and
this is the
I'm
worst.
I'm going like this and nothing's happening on the phone. It's like, guys, I'm live. Can you leave me alone right now? Um, yeah, uh, that's like 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
been
been a
a while.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a minute.
Well, it's good to
So
be back.
yeah, it's good to have you back. We've been busy here. We've been doing a
Mm,
lot of polyterology, and we've been doing a few other
yeah,
kinds of shows. And we had, in the meantime, we had Sherry's birthday show, which was a polyterology show,
that's
and
fun.
just fun stuff. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun.
I saw my community tab. I saw a lot of collabs and setups in YouTube. So yeah, I imagine it seems like you got a lot going on too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always good. You got a
I
lot
think
going
I
on in the
overbooked
world,
myself a little bit because I'm like, what day is it? What channel am I on? What's going?
right?
Yeah, I did a couple of fun things that I did is my sister and I were on Allie Martin's channel.
No,
Um,
yeah.
she wanted to introduce my sister, but my sister hasn't started her channel yet. So,
Mm,
so it was fun. It was really fun to talk and everything and to kind of expand on what Cleo's doing, but she hasn't started her channel. But she's going to start it soon. I have this inevitable feeling. It's
yeah.
any minute now.
And it's good to
And,
get yourself out there, whether you have a channel all set up or not. Get and Allie's a wonderful person to get started out in the community. I think she's so wonderful at bringing all the readers and everybody together and really having those conversations and those really good readings.
Well, and Allie and I have to give her a lot of credit for my channel because when I was just
Mm,
barely starting out, she tapped me to come in for an interview, and we really hit it off
yeah,
because
same.
she's from the East Coast, but she lives in Seattle. I'm
Mm,
from Seattle, but I live on the East Coast, and we're both Libras with Capricorn rising. So we just
no,
like
it's
connected like a house on fire. So we have stayed connected, all this time. And it's really nice to see her channel is growing, my channel is
hmm
growing, your channel is growing. It's really been a nice progression. And she does such a nice service for the community. It's just
He really
amazing.
does. I
That's
agree.
that's really nice to see. So I really, my hat goes off to her. She
Hmm
also had me on recently to do a episode for her Ascended Masters series,
Oh,
and
cool.
I did Ascended Master Lady Nada, and that was it's up on her channel, but I forgot to simulcast it, so I had to download it. So I'm releasing it next weekend, I think, as a premiere because it was a great show. I was
Yeah.
brokenhearted. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to turn it on," and
Mm,
it was just a saga getting it to me, getting it,
yeah.
downloaded and everything. So I see we do have some questions coming up in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Let's see if
Yes.
we got
We're going to
any
be
other.
reading on politics and current world events. So
Yep, that's what
send
we're
your
doing.
questions in. I
I'll put
haven't
it
been
up on
up on the
the
news. I was telling Colleen. Um, I just feel like I've been running around so much, so I really haven't been watching what's going on. But I haven't heard of anything huge coming up the last few days.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to put up on the banner that we're doing political political stuff.
Mm,
Sorry, I should have had this all done.
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important. Let's send a lot of love and light to all of those in the South that are affected by all these storms, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of
Yes.
damage.
Yes. Okay. And we can put that up. Okay, great. Thank you for your
Perfect.
patience, everybody. All right. So, yeah, let's get started with some questions. So, the first thing
Sure.
that I wanted to find out about was
Yeah.
um, Secretary Blinken, I guess, went to China to meet with
Mm,
Xi, and they're making kind of a big deal about it. And I'm thinking, why? I mean, was it so bad with China? Are they upset about what we said about the weather balloon? Do they still think we're blaming them for COVID or something? You know,
mm,
what what is going on there that we have to send our Secretary of State to go smooth things over? I didn't realize that there was that much ill will happening. Are they worried about Russia, the connections with Russia? I don't know. So I think we should read on it.
yeah. I think there's just been a lot of stress between the U.S. and China lately, and then you have like the
Yeah,
weather balloon.
so many little things that in the news were just kind of like today's news and gone tomorrow, but I guess not. I guess it's a bigger deal. So
Yeah,
we got to
I
sort.
feel like the conversations went. I don't feel like they were great. Like there was a lot of process, but I feel like it was a starting point, if that makes sense, to kind of get things together. But I do feel, um, you have Taiwan as kind of an issue too with the U.S.
Hmm.
supporting
Hmm.
Taiwan. Um, I think that there's still some kind of trading tariffs and stuff like that that China's not happy with. So I feel like it's a lot, and vice versa. The U.S. isn't happy about their relationship with Russia too. So and
And
sending spy
still,
balloons
there's the
everywhere.
issue of China basically stealing our technology
Yeah,
and creating their own technology. Nobody's even talking about that. I think that's the worst thing.
yeah, absolutely. So what are we looking at? Like the U.S. and China relationship?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what is really going on with this relationship? Why is Blinken having to go, halfway across the world to? I mean, can't they do this on Zoom? I guess not.
Mm. Well, and I think the last time too that they were supposed to meet was when the spy balloon was coming through. So
Yeah,
that
right.
was canceled, and then there's just been some tension. I'm not picking up anything like scary or war with China. Like I said, it feels like this is kind of. I still see some drama with the relationship, but it feels like this is at least a starting point. Um,
Okay.
let's take a look.
I I threw some cards. I've got
Yeah, what are you getting?
the Hermit and then the Ace of Pentacles because I think that China has just been kind of keeping their head in the sand and like,
Hmm.
hear no evil, see no evil, right? But
Yeah,
they're doing stuff under the surface. But I think the trade deals are probably going to go through. We got the Ace of Pentacles here, but other things that they're talking about are not going to go so well. I got the Five of Swords, and so that's, I don't know. And then I got two big major arcana. I got the Hierophant and the World. So I think what my spidey sense is telling me is that there is going to be something not warlike, but there is going to be some kind of issue about rules, sanctions, something. Oh, you got the Tower. Yeah.
yeah,
And then I get the World, the Hierophant and the World. So on one side or the other, there is going to be some sort of an edict or a statement or a demand or
yeah.
something that has big ramifications, and I'm not quite sure where it lies. I mean, I'm going to
Mm,
pull a few more cards here because this is really
yeah.
not telling me enough.
Do you want me to go ahead with what I'm getting
Yeah,
and then?
yeah,
Okay.
please do.
So I have the Two of Pentacles representing the situation, which can be like foreign countries overseas, but like that relationship is not very stable. It hasn't been stable, and so them coming through so that they can come to some kind of agreement, so that they can work on restabilizing the relationship. I feel like I said, I don't feel like there was a lot of progress. because we have the Seven of Wands here. So this is defending yourself. So I just feel like both sides, they weren't able to come to an agreement, and because of all of the drama between the two of them, I do feel like it's a bit of a tower moment. Now, this isn't necessarily bad. For me, it feels like they kind of have to crumble the relationship and start over, is what I'm feeling with that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a bit stalled, and we have the death card here too, which is endings but opportunities for rebirth. So I don't feel like the relationship between us and China right now is going to be resolved anytime soon. It's a bit stalled, but there will eventually come a point where it's like, okay, you did this, we got to let that go. We got to kind of, start over. And I do feel like there is an offering for that in the future. Um, but there is the spying is what I think a lot of the issue is here.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually we'll come to better terms. I feel like it may take a couple of years. Like I see some slow but very steady growth with it, but um, yeah, there's definitely some issues there.
Yeah, so my reading kind of falls in between what you were saying. So you're
Hmm.
seeing that the talks, the issues going on now are not really going to resolve anything too
No.
fantastic. And I agree with that. I think that there is so much going on under the surface that they are not talking about. I think it's really hidden, not just stalled, but hidden. And after these talks, what I see is that there is going to be an event. Things are going to speed
Mm,
up. They're going to accelerate very, very quickly. They will have to come to an agreement on something.
yeah.
It's mandatory because this is what I got: the Chariot, the Two of Cups, and the Four of Wands.
Mm,
So they're going to have to come to an agreement. And what I'm thinking, the missing piece here is probably Russia.
yeah.
Probably
That's
something
what
to do with
that's
Russia.
what
Yeah.
I was feeling when you were talking about it too.
Yeah, and I think that it's probably going to involve Ukraine because that's
Hmm.
Russia's big thing right now. So something that Russia is going to do, or sanctions, or maybe an action or something, but it's going to involve Russia, and China's going to be critical, and China, I think, is going to want to side with us, but they're going to need a little incentive to side
Mm,
with us. But I don't think China wants to get in bed with Russia. I
no.
I really feel that she
Well,
is like, he is radioactive. I do not want
to a
that.
degree, though, I do feel like there's a lot of things hidden. I don't think he wants their relationship to be out there for everybody to see. He likes to play both sides
Ah,
of the fence, I feel like, and I think that Two of
ah.
Pentacles can represent that. But
Mhm,
But yeah, I think there's going to come a point where maybe Putin's desperate with something. I don't feel like
mhm.
nuclear, but I mean, look,
No,
we
not
saw the
nuclear.
destruction of that dam that caused a lot of
Mm,
damage and stuff like that. And it's like
mhm.
he takes the step a little bit too far, and it comes to a point where China knows that Russia's kind of over, and it's not
Yeah,
a good strategic ally anymore, where they'll probably be more open.
yeah. And I think that China isn't China the one that is just like terrible with global warming stuff? Like they
Yeah,
don't
there's
just
no
don't even
solution, I think.
they don't pay attention at all. They don't do anything having to do with that. I think that there could, I mean, and this wasn't in the cards, that I
Hmm.
think that China could have yet another natural disaster that kind of makes them go, oh, yeah, I guess there is global warming. I guess we have
Hmm.
to do something about it. Like really grudgingly having to do something. But you know how China is. Once they put their focus on something, they do it really
Yeah.
well. They do it really fully, and they've got all those people to do it. So
Right.
when they do something, they do it really, really well. So, when they decide that there's global warming, oh my God, you're going to see like the whole edict go down to the masses, global warming, global warming. So that'll be a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So that was a good question. That was great. So what do we have here? Let me go to the starred stuff. Uh, okay. Will there be a mega? I like this one.
All right.
This is good. Will there be a MAGA maggot on the jury that will hang the jury and cause a mistrial? And I'm assuming that you're referring to
The,
Florida.
yeah, they're referring to Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's see.
I pick up intuitive. I do feel like there's going to be some Republicans on the jury, absolutely,
Oh yeah.
and maybe one or two MAGA people, but I don't feel that I think the evidence is so strong there. I don't see a mistrial. I see Trump appealing the decision when he's charged and found guilty of the documents, but I'm not feeling a hang jury that would cause a mistrial at all.
Okay.
That case is super strong. And there's another, I think, documents case coming out of DC, or I think there's talk about New Jersey.
Yeah.
Jack Smith isn't done with the documents cases. There's more
Oh
charges
no.
coming.
Oh no. Not done. Oh wow. Yeah, I think that here's the thing of this is what I think about the Florida issue.
Yeah.
I think that they've already come out in and said that his lawyers were trying to make a deal with DOJ earlier, but Trump wouldn't have it. And
Of
that was
course.
not in the news. Now that he's been indicted, that has come out in the news. I think there's about 5 other things that are going on behind the scenes
Absolutely.
that we don't know about. And I think any one of those things could cause the case not to be a mistrial, not to be dismissed exactly, but to come to some sort of agreement with Orange Menace here.
Mm,
I've got the Magician and Temperance. So what
yeah.
I'm thinking is that there's some hinky dinky going on behind the scenes. So, will there be a MAGA maggot on the jury? Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there will. But will the jury even hear a trial? I don't know. They could get picked, they could get seated, and the judge may come out and say, okay, you can all go home.
Right.
They came to some sort of settlement, because the other card I get is the Six of Swords. They're going
Mm,
away. It's going away from there. And there are many, many, many things that Mr. Smith can indict Mr. Trump on. So I don't think Mr. Smith is putting all his eggs in one basket. And I don't think
yeah.
Mr. Smith is too sure that this is really going to go forward. I think he's strategizing in his sleep, this man.
Oh,
I don't think he's letting any grass grow under his feet. And I think Cannon, I'm very excited to see that Cannon is actually really trying to toe the line. I didn't expect that.
she's scared. She's scared of
Yeah.
her reputation.
Yeah, but I thought she'd be scared of Big T more.
Mm,
I
oh,
thought she'd be
yeah.
scared of what he could do more than that. So I'm
I don't see her in the picture very long anyway.
oh
I don't
good.
think she'll finish the trial. You
Oh
know,
good.
it's interesting. I just intuitively, I feel like there may be a couple MAGA people in there. Like I'm feeling like the number two
Uh-huh.
in the jury.
Me too.
But like I said, there's a bit of a delay. I have the hangman here, and this is actually seeing the world from a different perspective. So
Yeah.
what I'm picking up is like the evidence is so damning that they have to really reevaluate. It's really changing their perspective, because I think he's done such a great job at really building the case and all of the evidence. Like I feel like it's an ironclad case.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have, coming into balance. So there's some slow energies around us at first, I feel like, but you know, is there conviction? I think Lux ran out for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, they're going to have a really serious judgment call with all the negative things that Trump did,
Yeah.
and a lot of them I think may actually have some regret and be very emotional when they actually see all the evidence and really hear the case. I feel like it's so ironclad, and I've always felt like the document case is really the big thing that takes down Trump.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Because even way, way back a couple of years ago, like if you watched anybody who was doing like a Lenormand reading,
Mm.
it's always the letters came up,
Oh
always.
yeah.
Always the letters, the documents. And
Mm.
we don't actually have a card like that in tarot, right? And that's why it really struck me in the Lenormand readings, because I did Lenormand readings on it, and I
Yeah.
got the letter on top of the gentleman, and then the
Well, and that could be
downfall.
communications too. And if you think
Yes,
about it, the communications with his lawyers, where they have all the evidence,
yes,
that's huge.
yeah. I think it's huge that they found out that he's lied to his lawyers. That's
Hmm.
just like what? That's like now out in the public knowledge.
Yep.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. All right, what else do we have here? I want to stay, I think, with this thing. Oh, let's do this is about Putin. We were just talking about China and
Okay.
Putin. I saw Putin at an economic forum 2 days ago. He looked really healthy. Is he ill or not? Um,
Are we sure it was Putin?
well, exactly. You just read my mind. That's what I just was trying to figure out how to come out and say it. Are we sure it was really him?
He's got a couple body doubles.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he's got at least a dozen. And even if he has to go and give a speech like at a summit, I'm
Mm,
sure they've been trained. And
yeah.
how would we know? We don't, unless you speak Russian and you're really tuning into his voice. I'm sure that I'm sure they've been trained.
I always feel not well energy when I focus on Putin. And
Yeah.
it's so weird too because there is so many times you see him and he looks completely fine, but then other times where he looks like death and like hell,
And
and
I
he's
think
super
I think
tired.
the completely fine ones are the doubles. And then
Exactly.
I think he's like, no, no, I can do it. Let me go out there. Either that or they have a double for when he's sick and he's really
Mm.
bad. He really looks bad. So is he ill or not?
He's definitely got an illness, and
Yeah.
I'm pulled straight to like the gut, like the solar plexus, sacral chakras area, like the abdomen.
Well, they've said he has a kind of cancer,
Yeah,
but I think he's got other
I don't
stuff
think they've
too.
confirmed that. I think that it's rumors. But I
I
also pick up like the heart feeling really weak too, and it's just energetically black.
Yeah, I always see black coming from him. I think that health wise, I think that it isn't a cancer that's really bad for him. It's something else, and I can't remember what the disease is, but I do feel that his heart is also bad, mainly
Hmm.
because he's trying so hard to remain strong and vital, and it's really putting a stress on his heart. He's
Yeah, and all the
actually,
chemicals probably too might be
yeah,
like if it's chemo, like all of that liver with all of the toxins built up too.
yeah. Although I'm getting really good cards for his himself, although this may be just Russia is getting better. I
Mm,
don't know. This is really weird. Well, he's getting the best care that he can get. He is sick. He has been sick for many years.
yeah,
He's not at death's door quite yet. He's he could be. I mean, any number of his health issues could take him very quickly if they flared up, like a heart thing,
mm,
an embolism, something going down. I mean, he could have an embolism going through not his brain, but other part of his body too, that could take him real quick. The gut thing that could take him.
yeah,
That's pretty vital. Most diseases originate in the lower intestines, and I feel that he's got a lot of bad stuff going on there. I feel like that lower intestine area, the
it's
gut, the
very
lower
dark and
abdomen.
murky.
What's that? Very dark. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Very
dark and
bad.
murky. It's like almost like
Very bad.
a
Yeah.
yellowish, brownish black.
Yeah.
What
And
I see.
Glenna Miles, I have wondered about this issue myself because so many psychics had said last year, "Oh, he's on death's door. He's not long for this world."
Hmm.
Well, I think for a while he was, and he
Yeah,
got treatment. Maybe there was a cancer or something, but I think he's got multiple health issues by
yeah,
now. And I think mentally he's a lot like what Trump is in. He's kind of like maniacally flailing in order to grasp what little power is left to him. Like he's just flailing. And I think that is putting stress on his heart.
Yeah, could be.
So I think there's multiple issues going on. And I also think that he and Trump have some sort of a destiny sort of together, some sort of
Mm,
karmic tie, some sort of link that when one goes, the other will go shortly after, almost like a married couple,
yeah.
you know,
And I
like
don't feel
what
either are long for this world either. I don't
exactly. I don't
typically do
either.
death predictions, but
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
feel like if Putin's health doesn't take him out, it's somebody close to him, and I actually have that very clearly in my cards.
Oh, talk, talk, talk.
I do. He is definitely sick. He's in solitude. He's the hermit right now. So he is. I don't think he's doing a lot of press. I think he's got several body doubles, as I was saying, and the energy crossing him is the temperance, which is about healing and balance.
Hmm.
So he's kind of out of the picture, I think, right now. He's in a place of solitude, alone, trying to heal. And it's interesting too because I have the Emperor card above, but if you can see on this deck, it's highlighting the lower back to the mid abdomen, um,
Yes.
being
Yeah.
the area. It's like a highlight, exactly where I was intuitively picking up. Yeah, he's feeling. This is a card of poverty. Um, so I think a lot of the economic stresses, but also it's the card of like the homeless person and just not very good health, energetically kind of very low. I feel like, and then going into the future, I'm getting the friendships, the partnerships, the alliances around him. Um, I ha- I don't do reversals in this deck, but I have the Seven of Swords upside down, and this is about deception. So it's plots of those that he's closest with in his home environment. I feel like maybe his concern going into the future.
Mm.
I've
Hmm.
often felt like he may be poisoned, and I've picked up a woman energy with that.
I'm with you with the poisoning. I think that's a high probability. And that card with the triangle on the lower back, that would
Hmm.
to me indicate kidneys. And there
Yeah,
could
could be.
very well be something going on with his kidneys. And often when people are ill for a very, very long time, the kidneys just kind of go down too. They kind of
Yeah,
start to fail
go
or get
down. Yeah,
clogged up or something. So kidneys are one of those, like I was saying, that's one of those things that could take them down real quick, even though it might not be the major illness, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Oh
I
boy.
definitely pick up that he's ill, and there's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of body doubles.
Yeah, I think it's a body double. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been doing that for him for so long. I'm sure they probably have a baby farm somewhere producing new Putin body doubles.
Plastic
Crazy.
surgeons popping up, Putin body doubles.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Okay. Where is that one coming from? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. What is the goal of Saudis buying US land and water? Thank you. Good vacation spot? I don't know.
I feel like it's multiple things. Um, Obviously, they're financially driven. Um, but I almost feel like, too, that they want to be around here to monitor stuff going on in the US. Not quite like China with their spy balloons, like the surveillance, but it kind of a bit of surveillance of what's going on.
I tell you something that popped into my head just now is that it's
Yeah.
interesting that where they're looking at water and land is not on either one of the coasts. It's in
Oh,
Arizona.
oh, interesting.
It's in Arizona. Why would they go to Arizona? Well, the Middle East is a place that is soon to be so plagued because of global warming
Yeah.
that they're just going to be hard pressed. They're going to lose people. Populations will migrate away from there. And all the money in the world is not going to bring them what they need, which is a fertile place to grow land and to live. Because right now it's very hard to live there, although they've probably perfected it to an art form of
Yeah.
dealing with those conditions. But in the middle of the United States and starting in places like Arizona that are maybe have more deserts like them, like the Middle East, something that would make them feel familiar. But I think they're looking at having a stake in a part of the world that might be habitable.
Mm.
I mean, a lot of people are coming here for the same reason. You can still grow. You can still grow things. You can still,
That's what
yeah,
I'm picking up as you're talking about it too. A lot of it seems to be like resources, making sure that they
resources.
have plenty of resources. Yeah.
Yeah, we have plenty of resources. Yeah, not just growing things. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think that they're looking they're playing a long game,
Mm.
and they're playing a game of survival.
Yeah.
Very much so. Well, that's what I got. You
Ooh.
have anything more?
Just throw in a couple cards. Yeah. Like I said, it feels multifaceted. Like there's multiple reasons for it,
Mm-hmm.
and not all good. We have the tower here.
Yeah.
And maybe this is the crumbling of their infrastructure and resources and looking for ways. Yeah, there's disappointment in the resources and money, looking to
Mhm.
make money, but also resources because they got some struggles and stress coming in. Um, yeah, and obviously we know that their motives and intentions, they're secretive. They're not great intentions for us. Um, and I also, like I said, I feel like some of it is kind of surveilling, is what I'm kind of picking up with this Queen of Swords.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with
I
that.
feel like it's multiple things.
Something else that just came to my mind is that
Yeah.
how long they have been drilling oil in the Middle East. At some point, that's a finite resource. At some point, that's over. So, are they looking at other ways to fuel transportation, or are they looking at any of that, or are they just looking at the resources of the United States? I mean, it's a very interesting question. Very interesting question. I don't think we've scratched the surface, all right,
Yeah.
but there's so much going on with that. It's very, very interesting. All right. Here's one about Kevin McCarthy. With
Mm.
Kevin McCarthy throwing seniors under the bus, how does that help or hurt the GOP?
What are they doing to seniors now? Are they talking about getting rid of Social Security and
I
Medicare
think,
again?
yeah, I think that's the general thing. You know, hollow out Obamacare, get rid of Social
Mm.
Security and Medicare and
The,
Medicaid
th-
and all that stuff.
the thing is, though, the only way that I really see it affecting these Republicans with these senior voters who not are all Republican, but a majority of senior voters are Republican. The only way that it would affect their vote for the Republican Party is if they actually got rid of it. And there's no way that that's happening. We have the Senate. Biden wouldn't pass anything. So I feel there's a bit of denialism of that's what from these Republican seniors that's what the Republicans are actually doing. I don't think that they take it as a threat. Now, if it actually happened, which I don't feel is going to happen, I think they would view things very differently. But
Yeah, they would not vote him back
of
in for
course,
sure.
of course.
Yeah, they're just not going to vote him back in. They're just going to look for somebody else who will represent what they want and give them what they want.
Mm.
That's all they're
I
going
feel
to
like he's got to be more concerned with the maggots, the Freedom Caucus, and his party turning on him. Because I
do.
said
Yeah,
after the whole debt ceiling negotiations, that things were going to get really ugly with the Republican Party, and we've seen that them trying to stop some bills and kind of shutting some things down, but it's going to continue to build and it's going to be a bit of a shitstorm for Kevin McCarthy. I don't see him in the speakership for very much longer.
no, I don't either. I'm looking for other questions.
I may mute myself for a minute, depending if my dogs go off, because I hear them upstairs, but I have one of them down here with me. So give
Oh,
me
if
just
you
one
have
second.
to,
I'll be right back.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, you guys, I'm looking for your questions. I'm finding a few. Very good. Uh, oh, good. I'll just put this up quickly. Rose Blue said the Saudis lease in Arizona alfalfa for cows using too much water. That needs to be canceled. Yeah, you're right, Rose Blue. That's a good point. And one of the many reasons that they're trying to kind of move in here and take over some stuff. Somebody else, after hours conversations with Willow, also mentioned the alfalfa. Okay. What
Sorry
else?
about that. My
No, no,
husband's
it's
at
fine.
home, so they may be going off for a minute.
Hmm.
All right.
Okay, let's see. All right. Uh, do you see? Okay, here's one. And okay. All right. And what's this? How much? Okay. I think I got a few here.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Let's go in here and let's go down here. So, how much longer will Russia continue to fight? Their barbarism is off the charts.
Yeah. You know, I feel like there's going to be disputes over the land, but not like what it is right now. Like I feel things settling down. Not to say completely out of the picture, but I do feel like Ukraine is definitely on the offensive now and going to start reclaiming a lot of their territory and really starting to get aggressive with Russia. And you know, I feel like the summer is really critical for Ukraine. And then it feels like going into the fall, towards the end of this year, um, things really kind of settle down with the fight with Russia side anyway. But I do feel like there's going to be a bit of fighting along the borders and whose lands whose for a little while, like going into the next year or two, just kind of getting things situated. But I do feel like things are settling down.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that as it becomes more and more obvious that Ukraine basically is going to win the
Yeah.
war, I think Russia will have to kind of concede. But I think they're going to need a third party for mediation in that. Kind of
Mm.
the way they had to negotiate things in World War II with Japan, that they needed other people to come in and try to negotiate things, and maybe that's a role that China wants to play. I don't know.
Yeah, I do think that they do want to play it, but I also feel like the Ukrainians know what side China's on, and I don't feel like they would trust that either.
They don't trust that, so it would have to be somebody else. Probably it would have to be a NATO country that came in as
Yeah,
the
but then you also have the issue of Putin trusting them. So it's hard to find somebody that can just
yeah,
kind of be
that's
independent
true,
in that
that's
kind of
true, but it's
situation.
going to have to be somebody. So at
Hmm.
some point,
I
I
feel
think,
energy around China. I
yep.
agree with you on that, but I feel
Mhm.
like I don't think things are going
And
to be
what if
negotiated
Putin
like that.
what if Putin is not in that equation?
That's
What
what
if
I'm
he's
feeling.
gone? That
That's
if he's
how it's going
gone,
to be negotiated when he's out of the picture.
then you would have more logical, cooler heads prevail. Although there may be a bunch of nut jobs all lined up behind Putin, ready to do the same thing. I don't know, but I'm hoping that there's somebody who's a little bit more logical. So, how
Yeah,
much longer will Russia continue to fight? I agree with Kevin. I think that the summer will be critical. I think in the fall things are truly winding down, if not kind of finished. And then I
mm,
think there will be a little bit of border skirmish going on for people who are just like, I'm not stopping yet.
yeah,
They
for a
have to
little
be
while.
put down. Yeah.
And
But
to get
then,
all
and
of
then,
their land back, like Crimea,
yeah,
it's going to be a
yeah.
couple year process.
Yeah, because these people are hurt on both
Mm,
sides. The Russians are hurt, the Ukrainians are hurt. They're very hurt. They've lost
yeah.
their homeland, they've lost
Hmm.
family members, they've been violated on both sides. And
Yeah.
so, and I'm not saying that Russia's right when I say both sides. I mean, the people of Russia have been screwed by this war too, and they're very hurt. So I think it's going to take a while, and I think everybody is going to have to get over their feelings of what their countries used to be, because neither
Yeah.
one of those countries are going back to what they used to be. Neither one of them. It's just not feasible for them to go back.
Yeah.
And I don't think Putin will be a part of the equation. I think,
I agree. I
yeah,
feel, and I felt this for a while, I feel like there may be somebody in the Russian military that takes over for Putin for
yes,
short
yes,
term
hmm,
after he's gone. But I feel like, the oligarchs, you could say Putin has all the power in Russia, but the oligarchs are really the ones calling the shots.
yes,
So we get a military person in there. The oligarchs are not happy with this war. They've lost so much money. They're, sanctioned, whatnot. And I kind of feel like that is the reason why Putin may be out of the picture, because those closest to him turn on him to get him out so that they can kind of restabilize things.
yeah. And I think the oligarchs will use the military person to establish order and reestablish laws and get things back
They're kind of the
going.
negotiating table.
Yep, that's right.
Hmm.
And then once that's done, the oligarchs are going to be like, "Scram, kid, get out of here. We're going to run things." They're
Right.
just like,
I
"Okay,
actually feel a good leader coming into Russia. It's going to take them
yeah,
a long time to kind of restart, but it feels like a revolution in Russia where it's much less corrupt, and much more democratic going into the future. I actually feel like in the next decade, Russia will be a great ally to the world once
yeah, I
Putin
think
is
so
out of the
too."
picture and they get rid of a lot of that crap
I
going on
should
over
I
there.
should look at the Russian chart and see what's going on with that,
Mm,
because it's they had their Pluto return a long time ago, but they might be up to like a Pluto square, or they might have some other thing going on that
yeah.
really determines what course the country is going to take next. Because I feel it too. They cannot continue the way they are. It's such a crime that it's
Mm,
such a resource rich country, and yet their people can't buy groceries. I mean,
yeah. And they're
it's
going to demand the change. Like I said, it feels
yes,
very, very much like a revolution where the people are tired of all the corruption, and we're all the oligarchs, and Putin have all of the power and the money and the resources, and they're all kind of crapped on. There's definitely changes coming in because of this
yeah. I
for
mean,
the good.
Russian people have done it before. They kind
Yeah.
of have it in their blood, that whole Russian Revolution thing. So they will definitely do it before. Okay, now what does this say? Here we go. Do you see Jack Smith's biggest obstacle? Will he run out of time due to the election?
Mm,
Um, no, I don't think he will. I think that, you know, if this thing in Florida goes forward and really comes to a trial, like I said before, I think the jury will be seated, but I don't think they'll really have a trial. That's just me.
mm,
If they do that and Eileen Cannon is able to set a trial date, she's going to try to push it out as
yeah.
far as she possibly can. But I think it's moot. I don't think it's going to matter. So, his other cases that are going on in DC or Bedminster or New York or wherever they're going on, those I think will come before the election.
Expedited is what I just heard.
Expedited. Yep, they will be expedited because the whole DOJ is really trying. I mean, they're not trying to orchestrate things, but
Mm,
they certainly are trying to cooperate with one another.
yeah.
They certainly are. I mean, it's we're talking about our the foundation of our government. Of course, we want to cooperate with one another and get that straight, right that ship, because that's
Mm,
very, very bad. So I don't see that he will run out of time. And
I agree. Something's happening before the election. But how do you feel about this? Because this is kind of the hit I've been getting. I haven't seen very clearly who the nominee on the Republican side is, because I think that there's so many things in play and it's going to
yeah,
depend on the timing, and we have
yes,
free will, so it could
yeah.
change. But my feeling is that Trump may actually win the primary, and then like very shortly after the primary, when they're running for when we Biden versus Trump, that's like it feels like sometime next summer, like either he collapses and drops dead, or they something happens where he's like locked up and he cannot be on the ticket, because I feel like a lot of chaos around the Republican Party scrambling. What do? We have to throw somebody in there, and I had a really weird vibe about Tim Scott, so I feel
I
like that may happen.
I've had that same dream. I've had it as a dream.
Okay.
Yeah, the same exact thing that it's in the summer. He's like, I didn't see him completely dropping dead, but I saw that
No.
he's so incapacitated, he might not be able to speak. That's
Mm.
what I saw, is that
Like
he
a
could
straight
not
jacket in
speak.
a white padded room is where
Yeah,
you might be going. Yeah.
yeah, like he won't be able to speak. But and who is it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
feel like there's
know.
chaos scrambling to throw somebody in there.
Chaos.
But I had a really weird feeling about Tim Scott, although I don't think he's popular enough to get the nomination on his own. I don't know how
But
that would
but
work.
this is almost a year from now.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. A million things could happen. I mean,
Mm.
Rudy Giuliani could dry out. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
miracles could occur, and people will be seen in very different lights. So that's why it's so hard. Because, like you said, there's so many things in play that we don't
I feel
know.
a lot of energy around that, and maybe that's the most likely thing to happen at this time. But
I
I've
think
never
so
seen
too.
very clearly who the nominee is going to be, and but I do feel that there's charges before. It feels like next summer.
Yeah, yeah, me too. Uh, Okay, here's one we could. Do you see that evidence Trump did sell secrets?
Yep, and it will be
Yeah,
revealed too.
yeah, very
I don't think it's too
definitely.
far out before Jack Smith.
I
Maybe this
think.
is additional charges I'm feeling because I do feel there's a lot of energy around that.
Well, I mean, Xi was at Mar-a-Lago several times.
Mm,
Xi was at Mar-a-Lago several
yeah.
times, and other big leaders. I want to say that there was somebody from Qatar that was also at
Mm,
Mar-a-Lago, and
that
with
really resonated with me. Qatar,
right, right.
like
So
they're a messenger for somebody else.
yeah, and that Chinese national that made her way all the way
Mhm.
into the personal quarters in Mar-a-Lago before they apprehended her.
Trump
And
was
the
giving
other one,
away secrets and documents right when he got in there. I mean, the Helsinki thing where nobody could be with him and Putin, and they
yeah,
couldn't keep the documents between the interpreters, or the
that was very
communication.
hinky, very shady.
There was documents being exchanged for.
And
He didn't get paid for them. It was for the help from Putin to win the election.
right. But also one other thing, the the area where he had Nauta move the boxes to hide from his attorney.
Mm, yeah,
That was accessible by one of the tunnels that they used to get from the pool to the main hotel
yeah.
underground. So anybody from the pool, that like that Chinese national person, could just walk into that tunnel and find that room. So
Mm,
I could very easily see that they would just say, here's where you go. The door will be unlocked. It's this number box or whatever. I mean, it just wouldn't be that hard for them to go mainly undetected by people. I don't know if they had security cameras down there, but probably they'd just turn them off.
right,
You
exactly.
know? So yeah, did he sell stuff? Yeah, he already sold stuff.
Mhm.
He already sold stuff.
It's interesting too because it wasn't just for selling. Some of it was for, blackmail,
Mm,
um, where
yeah,
you're going to charge me, I'll release these secrets, so you can't touch me. So to kind of
yeah,
cover his own ass a little bit. Some were shared from those that have helped him, and then as we know, Trump and his family had those $2 billion from Saudi Arabia.
yeah.
Um, so there was selling, and
Sick.
I do feel I don't think that we'll actually see what it was, but I think we'll have a good gist of how sensitive that
Yeah,
information was.
yeah. That every time I think about that $2 billion, I just kind of go,
Mm.
God. And sometimes I worry about making my car payment. Like,
Right.
like these people just vibrate in a different circle. They just, I don't know, maybe it's something with Trump touching that glowing orb. Maybe
Mm.
maybe I don't know, but I just think for all the opportunities that he had, and then to turn out to be a person like that is just so shameful. The other thing I think he probably used some papers for is blackmail for people in Congress,
Yeah,
because I think that's a big part of how he got so much power within the GOP. Because I can't,
absolutely.
I mean, I know it is a cult and I know they've all drunk the Kool-Aid, but who started first really buying into it? Somebody that was being blackmailed, I think. And maybe
Well,
Lindsey
Russia has a
Graham.
lot of blackmail too on
That's
them as
right,
well.
too.
So I think that it was
That's
shared.
right, too.
Absolutely.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Oh my
I
gosh.
feel like there's some big news coming out about him selling or sharing for that reason. And also, too, if you're talking about blackmail, he supposedly had information on Macron's wife. So not just Congress people, but world leaders, so that he could try to
Yes.
exploit people.
Yeah, world leaders. Ugh. He's just he's just sticky and ew.
Yeah.
Just ugh. All right. So let's see. Okay, I just want to show what Sherry was talking about
Mm,
why the seniors hate the GOP. The new GOP budget pushes retirement age back to 69, currently at 67, and steep cuts to monthly SS checks and doing away with Medicare and Medicaid. Yeah, that would do it if that went
mm,
through. I don't know that Biden would approve that budget, but
I don't see that going through, but
yeah, but thank you, Sherry, for that information.
you know who it turns off? I don't feel Republicans because, like I said, there's a level of denialism and um, they're not interested in reality, but it's going to turn off the independents, and there's going to be so much chaos and stuff being revealed about the Republican Party, Trump, all of that. I see Democrats doing very well in 2024, and it's a horrible Senate map for Democrats, but I feel like there's so much um, really wonderful, like getting things accomplished and actually finally getting that work put in the rules and regulations and like voter rights, gun reform, immigration reform, all of that kind of stuff. It feels very good going into like 2025, 2026. Like a lot of work's going to get done, and there's no way that would happen if Republicans won. So
Hmm.
the
Well,
Republican Party is going to implode between now and
yeah.
2024, and Trump is going to pull all of the Republicans off a cliff with him as he falls. That's how I feel it.
Yeah, and don't forget that there is still a chance that there are GOP members who may be forced to resign or may resign in
Mhm.
shame
Yeah,
because of indictments themselves. And
absolutely.
I fully believe that there will be enough of them pulled out that when those people are replaced, it will change the balance.
By
And
like a
that's
seat or
what
two,
happened
it's going to be
before
really
the end
close.
of the year. Hmm.
Before the
Yeah,
end of this year,
I think it's going to be this year. I do
I,
because the
I was
indictments
feeling
are
next
coming this
year.
year, and it could be next year.
Hmm.
But I was feeling this year. I mean, look at the nonsense that Jordan pulled, and Alvin Bragg just pushed right back, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, so let's put up an indictment for you for interfering in a lawful investigation by me.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I,
I agree with you to a point. I do feel like there's energy around it for this year. Like there may be indictments for some people in Congress. It feels like in the fall time, but when they're actually either charged or it the ship implodes and they have to go, I feel like it's more into next year where we'll
so
actually retake the House.
so now George Santos is still in, right?
Hmm.
And he's the one that's really keeping them in line as far as votes go.
Mm,
Let's read on his departure. When
yeah,
do we think he's going? Because
very
I
soon.
feel like he is the first domino,
I've said that too. I
right?
I'm feeling August. Like it feels like it's
August
right around
is
the
gonna
corner. It does not
August
feel
is going
long.
to be big. August is going to be big. And then the astrology in the fall, September and October
Hmm.
is
It's crazy.
explosive. Yeah. So I'm optimistic. I think it'll still happen this year.
I'll just say we're almost at an hour, but I've just really enjoyed all the conversations. I know we haven't gotten to a lot of specific questions, but the conversation and the depth of it and the intuitive back and forth, it just felt really good to me
I
today.
love that. I really love that. And I went through, if you see a question that we didn't do, let me know. But I think I got the questions that they were asking.
We got, yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
did.
I
There
love
was
the readings too, where it's more like, I mean, I do my Tuesday shows, and I'm like, it's a bit of a hustle, like quick and just moving on really
mm-hmm.
quickly. But I love the ones too where it's a little bit more free flowing, and sure we might get to a couple questions, but it's just a conversation and where that question leads to another. You know what I mean? Where you're kind
Yeah,
of reading
yes,
on multiple things on
yes.
one question.
Because I tell you, I'm not much of a medium, but when I'm working with other people, I
Mm,
definitely play off of their energy. I don't know if it's
absolutely.
positive thinking or the pressure of performing or just playing off the energy, but I get more hits when I'm working, even like I did a show with my sister yesterday. I got
Yeah,
more hits just working with her than I would myself, you know.
absolutely. I feel
Yeah.
very much the same. And we get into like an energetic connection between the two of us or the readers that you're reading with, and even the chat, I think too. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we get into this beautiful flow where, as we're talking, for me, when I hear people talking, things often really resonate and information comes in. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the conversation and the back and forth really helps, I
It's
think.
really great. I was having a conversation with Sybil Harmony because she was supposed to
Uh-huh.
be on my show yesterday, and something came up, and so she was saying, I can't do that many questions. It just burns me out, and if I couple that with also doing healings, it's too much for me. And I said, okay,
Right.
so let's structure it differently. And I was thinking back to the shows that I do, like with you or with Susan Lynn or even with Mel, and it is the conversation actually that really
Mhm.
sparks all the touchstones. I don't know. It's cool.
I
It's
agree,
nice.
and it makes it easier too when it's more like this. I know for when I'm like hosting and having a collab, like I love. I'm working. Susan Lynn's coming on my channel tomorrow, and she's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I I keep up with the chat, but I'm not like focused so much on the chat. I may get to some of the questions star that kind of pop out, but it's not like that the quick and burn kind of like how I do it on the solo show. It's
Yeah.
it's that conversation, and we could talk about one thing and go into many different things. And sure, we may touch some of the questions, but I just think it flows a lot easier and more organic that way.
And that's the word, flow, free
Mhm.
flowing. It just goes. Okay. I did
All
see
right.
one other I do
Who
see a
are we
couple.
reading on again? I
Oh,
Santos, right?
yes. Okay, George. When are you leaving? When are you going to? Where's he from? Brazil?
Yeah, I think so. Allegedly, who knows?
Yeah. When are you going back to Brazil? Because I think he's going back to Brazil.
Mm. He's in trouble there too. Ooh.
Exactly. Exactly. He's going back because he's in trouble.
Oh, this does not feel good. Have they announced who posted his bill yet? Because I feel like that's coming soon. Because those that supported him, he's
I don't know.
really really anxious about that information being released, and it's a male connection that he's really nervous about. I
Yeah.
get it's a bit of a waiting game. I think he knows his
Yeah.
time's coming up. I'm gonna
I
hold
get
on
the
as
same.
long as possible until my ship comes in, and then I'm sent back over the seas to Brazil. Yeah,
Yes.
the stealing and trying to get away with it causes so much stress and burden on him. We're waiting on that announcement, and I don't think that it's coming. It's coming quickly, where he's isolated, and then it's the ending of him, the ending of his career. So, and
Yeah.
then I get him out in the cold, the
Ooh,
refugee. So,
yeah.
not
Oh
looking good.
boy.
I'm feeling uh, timing's hard, but August feels very significant like that.
Yeah, with all those wands, that looks like fire.
Hmm.
So kind of
Like in Leo
Leo
season,
time. Yeah, my cards are pretty much telling the same
the
thing.
same.
There's no need to repeat. That's what's happening. I will say though that Brazil is looking at a extradition for him. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think the United States has any motivation to keep him.
No, absolutely not. But I do feel I feel charges both in Brazil and in the U.S.
Yes.
So,
Yes, in both places. And they need to do
mhm.
it in both places because if they just took him off to Brazil, then is his seat gone? Did he give up his seat? Or is it a possibility that he could come back?
Yeah,
That so I think they need to do charges here so that he really has to give up his seat. I think that's
yeah,
what's really important. Okay, I did see you got time for just like one or two more questions?
yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good.
So I saw if I go to start, it's easier to find them.
Thank you
Okay.
for everyone that's been hanging out with us. It's always good to see everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, we'll do this question because it's by a person that has my name, Colleen.
All right.
So here we go. Will the Republicans shut down the government over the budget again?
Mm. No, I answer no. But it feels like again, like last minute crap. It feels like they're up to their shenanigans. They'll try to. Sorry, excuse me. Actually, I feel like when is the it's not the debt ceiling. What is it? What is that? What they're talking about for the
The
shutdown?
budget.
The budget. Is that at the end of the year?
I don't know. I
If
think it might
anybody in
be.
the chat knows, it feels like it may be towards the end of the year, and I feel like, oh, thank you, Mountain Dancer. Um, I feel like things may. It feels like there's, the MAGAs are causing chaos as usual, but I feel
Mhm.
like the Republicans have almost flipped on them a little bit, where they're more willing to work with Democrats to get stuff done. September, thank you, Lynn.
September.
I'll throw some
Yeah.
cards on it, but it does
Yeah.
feel like there's chaos with it, but it feels like I'm not feeling worried about it like I was with
No.
the debt ceiling. That was really close.
A lot on the budget depends on whether Kevin is in or out. Now,
Mm,
if Kevin is in, there's going to be a lot of tap dancing and a lot of just stalling, really, because they don't have any idea of how to write the budget. They're just, if they turned to Mitch McConnell and said, "Could you help us?" Okay, but they're not going to do that. So it's hard. It's just
hmm
really hard. They just don't know how to do it, and so it'll be a real S show, just terrible.
Yeah.
They they know they have the money, but they just want to hang on to the money for themselves. So these are not people that can even understand how to uh, distribute the money in an equitable way. So they're just going to do the knee jerk thing that they always do. They're going to call them entitlements and try to cut all of them out. And they're just going to be jerks about it. Now, if Kevin's not the Speaker of the House, then they have a chance to actually create a budget that makes sense.
Mm,
In the end, they're just going to go with Joe's budget because he already wrote it up in anticipation of the debt ceiling argument. And that's the budget that's going to get passed. Uncle
yeah.
Joe's.
I feel like Kevin may be out of there come then, because I see somebody walking away and turning their back
There
on
you
the
go.
crazy. I actually am getting great cards with it. Like I said, I'm not. I feel like there's some chaos with it, but I'm not feeling like it's like a nail biter. There's a lot of cooperation and group work, celebration, deals being made. The Empress, which is creating things. It feels like there's we're moving into calmer water. So yeah, there's going to be some turbulent waves, but we're moving into really a great time with the Wheel of Fortune. And then I have the money being sent. So I'm really not getting any negative cards with that at all.
You know what that means, Kevin?
What?
That means either that the balance of the house has shifted,
It could be.
and so it could be that people have been indicted, or they are so afraid of being indicted and not getting their seat back that they are
I feel
cooperating.
like it's the latter. I feel like
They're
it's the latter.
Yep. And so that means that Uncle Kevin won't be in charge in
Hmm
September. So that does give us a timeline. So by the
I
time we
feel like
hit
August with
September,
him too, something significant. I'm sorry to
yeah.
cut you off, Colleen.
No, 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 it's good. It's good. August is good. I think
Yeah.
that's right. But so that you're reading about this being much better and more cooperative, that gives us a bit of a time benchmark. So,
hmm
time of the budget, we know that the tides will have turned. They will be cooperating for some reason. Either it's a change
Yeah.
in balance or they're afraid they're all going to lose their seats. That's good. This is positive.
Yeah.
Very, very positive. All right. What is my
One
next
more.
question? I have one more. I don't know if we can really get this, but we'll try. Colleen Braun, thank you for that question. And thank you
Yeah.
for being a Colleen. There's not many of us out there. Thank you for representing. Okay. How is
Wow.
Jack feeling right now?
He feels a bit over the place. Part of me feels like he feels super confident and excited that there's movement, but also I do feel like there's an anger for like the injustices that have happened.
Yeah.
Jack Smith is a warrior. I said it when I first saw him when they first announced him. He's just charging right through all the crap. He doesn't play. And I think also too, there's surprises coming with Jack that I feel like he's excited. He's like got the one up on, is what I just heard. He's like, yeah, you want to play? You want to play with the big boys? Let's play. That's what I feel like he's saying to Trump.
He is. I mean, this is a guy that came from The Hague,
Hmm.
prosecuting war crimes. So a little guy like Trump, he's not quite a war criminal yet. And so for Jack, this is, cat playing with a mouse,
He's the one to put the bully in check. That's what a bully needs. They need somebody to check them, to embarrass
Mhm.
them, to
Yep.
call them out. And Jack Smith is not backing down
No,
to the bully.
no. So I got the Ace of Wands. So we've already passed Aries, which is a fire sign. So I'm going to say that when we come into Leo, definitely
Mm,
by then we have something big, a big surprise, a big announcement, whatever. And it's going to leave the GOP, the Trumps, all those people who have been doing bad things devastated.
yeah.
They're going to feel devastated. That's
Ooh.
probably the beginning of their fear about their seats in Congress. What'd you get? What'd you get?
Oh, he's got some great cards going into the future. I do feel like I said, I feel like multiple things. There's definitely the rejoice and celebration there.
Hmm.
Feeling really kind of upset with what's been going on with Trump, and
Yeah.
just really wanting desperately to move on from
Yeah.
the cancer of Trump in the Republican Party. But I do feel like he overdoes it a little bit. Like I feel like he's always working, so there is an element of bringing things to balance a little bit. Like he's 5 steps ahead of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what I thought was really cool going into the future, we got some powerful major arcana. He's got the Destiny, the Wheel of Fortune, with the
Nice.
Magician. So he is
Nice.
going to, um, you know, Trump's Trump's luck's going to run out. He's the magician, so he's able to accomplish anything that he sets his mind to, and he's coming through as the emperor here. So the
Yeah.
authority. So he comes in super strong.
Yeah.
He's
I
he's he's the turning point for the demise of Trump.
very much so. I a couple months ago I did a show with Civil Harmony and we
Yeah.
were talking about Alvin Bragg and Jack Smith and their energies have some things in common. They
Hmm.
both feel like warriors, definite warriors.
Yeah.
But Jack Smith feels like a warrior priest. So in
His
ancient
energy is
days,
very intense. It's
yes,
super intense. It's much stronger than Alvin Bragg's in that way. Although I agree.
a
I mean,
Dominican for sure, a
yeah.
Dominican for sure. But I see him in those black and purple robes of the Hague. When you see him,
Mm,
that picture of him in that black and purple tunic or robe, whatever it is that they have to wear. I looked at that and I was just like, oh man, you are doing like you've done this in like 500 lifetimes. You have been
yeah.
this and you're just really, really good at it. So, not a priest, but the more like the Hierophant, where the rules, the law,
Mhm.
the justice is so important to him.
Absolutely.
That's what I see with him. He's fighting
He's
the
all
righteous
about the
cause.
authority and um, what's the word? I just had it. It just left me. Um, the authority and order. I think that the Emperor card really defines him very well. It's very intense. He's
Mm-hmm.
all about the rule of law. He doesn't allow he will take you down if you're one for like injustice and to cheat the system and he's coming for you.
Mm-hmm. He is. He really is. Oh my gosh. Well, that yeah, I think we did it. I think we played them all.
Yeah. But get ready for Jack Smith because he's got some surprises coming up very shortly, and his energy is continuing to charge ahead throughout the summer, and it feels heavy in the fall and even winter and spring. I think with all January 6th is huge because of the amount of people involved with it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's very
so
big.
like I said, I feel like the documents is really the biggest thing. Um, like the espionage and giving all of our defense and nuclear capabilities for ourselves and our allies. That's huge. But January 6th is massive. And I feel like with January 6th, it's not like everybody gets an indictment right here. It's like we give a group of indictments and then people start flipping and then it gets bigger and bigger. It's like multiple stages with people getting in trouble.
And do you think that for January 6th, when were talking, I was thinking, do you think they might split it up over several different venues just because it is so big? Because they could do that. I mean, we have federal courts in every state,
Mm. I
so
feel like
they
it's going to be in D.C. though.
yeah, it's just
I
going
don't
to
know
be
how many
so
courts they
massive.
have or
Well,
judges with that, but
they're going to have to build more, they make more, seek more, something because this is extraordinary and it has to be heard. But also,
yeah.
I think that Fani Willis's case is going to be very wide ranging as well.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
she's also going to touch on a lot of stuff. She's going to focus on the damage done in Georgia, but with that damage done in Georgia, that reaches out tentacles to the documents case,
Hmm.
to the January 6th, to the planning, to the family. I mean, that
Absolutely.
that is like a big old octopus going out all over the place. Then that's what kind of gave me the idea that maybe somehow this would go across multiple venues, or maybe just Washington D.C. and
Yeah.
Georgia. Maybe they'd do that, but you know,
I don't
that's
know. I agree with what you're saying, but I mean, that's not so much with the January 6th, but it's like the documents and the electors. It's so a kind of, but I feel like the
yeah.
main it is huge. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I
It's
think you're
very
right. I think the
recent.
January 6th stuff really does have to stay in DC because that is where it all happened. But the
Hmm.
planning of it and the conspiracy of it is all over the
Yeah,
place,
I agree with that
just all over the
100%.
place. So I don't know how they're going to do all that, but they'll figure it out. I mean, they've had in the past when you've had like well, when they set up the Hague, that didn't exist until
Mm.
Hitler, and then they went, these guys are, this is affecting the world, and the world needs to prosecute them as criminals. So,
Yeah.
they may have to set something up that is capable of managing that kind of a case. So I don't know that it's all hands on deck, I guess. Is what they'll
Get
say.
your popcorn ready because this sinking ship isn't it's going to very slowly but hugely sink. So
Yeah,
it's just like a trickle, 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 explosive news, explosive news, explosive, and it really feels like summer. It's consistent, but August, September, October, December, they all feel like massive months. You would
yes.
know more about the astrology with it, so
Yeah, that time of year is astrologically we have a lot of big shifts.
yeah,
We have Pluto going direct, we have Saturn going direct, we have a bunch of cool squares and oppositions coming into play that are just massive. So yeah, it's going to
yeah,
be very exciting, very exciting. All right. Well, thank you so much, my friend. It was very good
yeah.
to get together with you. And I do like this format too. I
Hmm.
hope the chat people like it too. We did actually get to all of your questions, I believe.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
yeah, that was good. And we got to just let it go free flow. And I think we give for the people watching, I think we give you more information when we're able to just, extemporize on what's going on with the answers that we get,
Yeah,
not just a simple answer, but keep going with it, because this is complicated stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it really
Well,
is.
thank you for having me, Colleen. It's always fun.
Thank
Maybe
you.
next time it will work out and Mel can join us. That will
I
be
hope
fun to do.
so.
Well,
I
I'm
hope
sure we'll get
so.
that worked out
At
sometime.
some point, yeah. All right, everybody, we're going to sign off now. Blessings for everybody. Hope you all had great Father's Days. Hope that
Mm,
Juneteenth went great for everybody.
yeah.
And thank you for joining us. Bye bye.
Love and blessings, everyone.